This video is going to focus on body and transition. However, the first part of the video, we're going to just focus on a strong body. One thing you want to do in a presentation is usually have three main supporting points. When you have too many supporting ideas, the audience can easily get confused. For example, if I tell the audience I'm going to tell you about my 7 favorite basketball teams, during the presentation, as you're talking about all these different teams, the audience is going to get confused which team you were talking about. So instead of talking about your 7 favorite basketball teams, maybe just focus on 3. We talk about logical order a lot in this class. We want to make sure that we not just focus on our 3 main points, but all the supporting information should be in logical order also. This makes it easier for the audience to understand. Whether you follow a chronological order or you talk about something from biggest to smallest or from the easiest to the most difficult, always consider the logical order. Remember that the body contains almost all of your information. Now, the introduction can give some background information, but the body has the focus of your information. So if we were to take the topic dogs, now that's my main topic. Dogs make great pets. Maybe the first thing I want to talk about in my body is how fun they are. Second thing, how loyal they are. The third thing, how they protect people. So I would focus on these 3 things in my body. However, in my introduction, I might talk a little bit about like the history. So how dogs became domesticated. Or I might talk a little bit about different breeds of dogs, different types of dogs. However, my focus, dogs make great pets, that's going to be in body paragraph 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we finished talking about the body. Now let's go ahead and focus on transitions. Transitions are also very important in a presentation. They're important in writing, but they're extremely important in a presentation because transitions are a bridge between ideas. They let the audience know when you're moving from one point to the next point. When starting my presentation, I might say something like this. Let's begin by, I'd like to start by, first of all, will, starting with, something like that. That way the audience knows that, okay, the main part of our presentation has now begun. When you come to the end of one of your main supporting points, you should let the audience know. You can use phrases like the ones below, like, well, I've told you about, that's all I had to say about, we've looked at, now you should have a clear idea about. These are the things that you've just got done talking about. You want to tell the audience that you have finished talking about one of your main supporting points. Remember, in a presentation, the audience only has one chance to hear what you have to say. So if we're not sure if you've gone on to the next point or if you're still on the first point, that can cause a lot of confusion for the audience. And when you're starting another main supporting idea, you want to let the audience know. So you just got done telling me using a transition to finish the last main idea. Now you're going to use a transition to tell me what you're going to talk about in your second main point. You can use phrases like this. Now we'll move on to, let me turn now to, turning to, I like now to discuss, and so on. So using transitions together is really important. Again, it lets the audience know exactly where they are. So when you're finishing one of your main topics, you can use something from the list on the left. Then when you're starting the next main supporting idea, you can use a phrase on the right. So for example, you can say, well, I've told you about car sales in Europe. Now we'll move on to car sales in Asia. If you say those 2 sentences, it will make it very clear to the audience that you have now moved on to the next main supporting idea. When you use words just like next or second, if I miss that one word, I can get very confused of whether we're talking about the topic before or if we have moved on to a new topic. Some of you might have noticed how I use sometimes past tense and future tense. Well, when we have done talking about one topic, we want to use a past tense. When we're going to discuss the next topic, we want to use a future tense. So let's look at the example on page 27 here. It says, I have explained how Korea's geographical location make it an important place in the world. Here, we have already finished talking about that, so we're using a past tense. When we're going to start talking about the next main supporting idea, we use a future tense. Now, I will discuss how Korea's economy make it a vital economic component in today's global business world. So make sure that you use transitions between your main supporting ideas. Finish one main supporting idea and then go on to the next main supporting idea. But also remember to use transitions within each supporting idea. So if I look at health risks, I have cancer, emphysema, and gum disease. I would definitely use a transition between cancer and emphysema, and gum disease. If you use transitions, it will make it much easier for your audience to know exactly where you are in your presentation.